Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be talking about another top performing team for the Plague Creeper Primal Lord, and maybe I shouldn't call it another because it is using exactly the same team strategy, the three light bearers and Smokey and Elsa. However, it is making use of Sinbad instead of marilee. This is something people were wondering, and I was even wondering, can marilee be replaced for Sinbad and make this team even more effective? Now, with this one attempt, All Great Gamer managed to get a bit over 9 billion damage with this team. And that is a really high and respectable score. And maybe the potential of this team could even be higher than that, we don't know. As of right now with the marilee team, there have been some people scoring up to like in the high 9 billions. I haven't seen anyone score over 10 billion yet, but I'm sure it's only a matter of time before people will. But either way, 9 billion with this team really shows you that Sinbad can be a very good option for this team as well. Yeah, and also it is about, is the team more consistent, and we're going to see that on the replay and try to analyze that as well. So what is Sinbad's role here? Number one is to provide the light bearer buff tiles. You need to have a third light bearer here, but number two, he comes with debuffs. His Tracker's Instinct will apply debuffs onto the targets, which will usually be the boss in this fight, and also his Mythic Plus will empower those debuffs if they are reactivated onto the same enemy target. I don't know if the Plague Rots kind of interfere with the Tracker's Instinct. Maybe he would be better if there weren't like all of these summons involved in this boss, but either way he still performs really well. So now we're going to watch the replay. And even his damage output is not too bad, but of course the star of the show is the Corrin with the over 6 billion damage in this team. And this is the highest I've seen Corrin deal as a damage to the Plague Creeper, because basically we have Sinbad to ramp up Corrin's damage even further, as compared to marilee, who also contributes some damage of her own. That's the major difference, because we're missing out on marilee's damage, which can get up to like 1.7 billion, but we have Sinbad to increase the damage from other sources like even Elsa and Corrin. So the good thing I've noticed about this team is that it really is staying all grouped up together, because Sinbad is a melee hero, and the entire team is going to be right in front of the boss. This is good for you because then Rowan's ultimate cast and the Shadow Rowan are both going to boost up all of that, your allies, with the energy, because Rowan can only boost allies within a 2-tile range. So the problem with marilee is that sometimes the RNG would cause her to jump off to the sides, and even Elsa sometimes bounce around onto the side, and then Rowan is not able to hit all of them with his ultimate cast, and then like the run can end up getting a little bit of a lower damage score. But that is a little bit, it feels like it's a little bit more consistent in this team. Also, he managed to get, All Great Gamer managed to get plus 20 upgrade on his Tide Call spell, which is a big power spike for the team, because now after only 4 ultimate casts, you're going to be activating the effect of Tide Call, which will apply the Soak debuff onto enemies, causing them to receive 25% increased damage. And also deal less damage, but we're not like really worried about the damage dealt by the boss. It's really just about how much damage you can get in the 90 seconds you have. So all the way up to 5 billion or so damage, 35 seconds left on the clock, and I think we just hit the 30 chest mark with the 5 billion damage. 30 chests is the maximum rewards you can get from each attempt on the boss. So now you know kind of what damage to aim for. I think around 5 billion damage for as of today. It might change as days go on. But look at this. The whole team has been grouped up entire time, all going to be boosted by the Rowan ultimate cast, and Corrin and the Shadow Corrin are both going to clear the Plague Rots really quickly with his ultimate as well, which is a AoE attack. So this team is just really cool, and it makes a pretty good use of Sinbad instead of marilee. I do think probably the marilee team with perfect RNG has a higher ceiling for damage output, because marilee herself also contributes quite a lot of damage. But as of watching this replay, this seems to be like a consistently top scoring team. But maybe this is just the ideal run, and then after this you're not able to break past whatever damage output this got, because it's got 8.36 3 billion, but then additional damage is added at the end of the fight from either Tidecall spell damage or the damage dealt to the Plague Rots. But in total, his score was over 9 billion damage. So really amazing showcase of Sinbad and what he is capable of only on day one. And I think definitely I believe that Sinbad is going to be pretty strong for different Dream Realm teams in the future as well. And the thing is, even when we get to end this mode, that is really the question. Is he still going to be a good option for Dream Realm? Because there are a lot of really powerful heroes. And I think the major issue also is that Sinbad himself does not contribute that much damage compared to other damage dealers, like even, for example, Lenya or even Lily May. So will he be able to be used in those teams effectively just for his debuffing ability? So that's the thing we'll have to see. But this is just really cool that he has uses in Plague Creeper. It still does rely on Elsa, unfortunately, and people were asking me, can you use just one copy of Elsa, for example, an epic Elsa in this Lightbearer team? You can use it. The damage output will be quite a lot lower because she really gets her maximum potential at Mythic Plus. And because then you can, at +5 exclusive equipment, because then you can lower her energy threshold required to cast her ultimate, and over the course of the fight it does make a difference to the damage. And then also her hero focus, even at legendary plus, the haste, allows her to cast her skills more frequently and charge up her ultimate a bit more frequently as well. But you can use it. I've seen people using even an epic copy of Elsa, and it may be the best team for you. But if, for example, you have Wilders built up as well, then maybe it's just better to run the Wilders team. So I'm going to show you the Wilders team here as well. So it's just something to keep in mind. And also, people have said that you can replace Elsa for Freyasto in that team, and people have had decent results with that, with basically having the Freyasto himself, the main one, in front of the Rowan, and the Illusion in front of Corrin. So that's another thing that you can try. But definitely this Wilder team worked out really better than expected, with 521 resonating level and only +19 resonating artifact. I managed to get 5.3 billion damage with this team, which I was pretty impressed by it, and it is using heroes that maybe a lot of people will have built up. Maybe you won't have the Brian built up, but I think even if you use him at a lower level of Ascension, it should still work out fine, because he was not here for his major damage output. It was mainly for his charm bonus. Increase the target's damage taken by 15% for 8 seconds after dealing damage to the target 2 times. That basically ramped up the damage of the entire team. And I think the charm bonuses are also kind of a reason why Sinbad is not as effective, because there are some heroes with charm bonuses which basically provide the same debuff amount as Sinbad is providing. I think that's really the major issue, because Sinbad, first of all, his debuffs are reduced in effectiveness to bosses. I have Sinbad actually, so we can just look at him over here on his skills. But yeah, his debuffs are reduced to 20% of the original effect when used against bosses. That is the major problem. If it were even 40%, 50%, it would be amazing. But 20% basically of whatever your debuff is a lot of reduction. Because let's say the guard's damage taken is increased by 40%, and with Mythic Plus, when you reanalyze, and if they are the same guard, which the bosses are going to be, then 10 plus 15, another 25% bonus damage, basically damage dealt to them. So 25 plus 40 in total is up to 65%. So for PvP, the guard can be taking up to 65% bonus damage if you reanalyze them and they're still the guard. In the boss fight, it's reduced to 20% of the original effect, and 20% of 65% is only 13%. So, and then 13% increased damage taken, I mean, that can be provided from charms, just like as we saw from the Brian magic charms. That's the major issue. Like, I mean, but then I guess it would be broken if they had like the debuffs reduced to 40% of the regional effect. Then he would be so amazing in boss content. Right now he's kind of in a balanced position, but it just kind of hurts because like what he is really meant to do is do Tracker's Instinct and debuff hard the boss, but the effect of this is really reduced in boss content. I don't know what it does to the Plague Rots, but I think the Plague Rots don't even have enough time for you to debuff them before they are killed. And then he has pretty good damage output in his kit, but not even comparable to Lenya. Lenya has more damage output from her skills, but Sinbad, yeah, he has decent damage and also decent debuff on top of that. And so, yeah, and definitely in the Lenya team, as of right now, like Lenya Kruger team, Sinbad has been shining and improving that team's damage. But in the other team, for example, like today we have a Taylene, Coco, Mikola, Lily May, and a Rainier team. In that team, it doesn't seem like Sinbad is improving that team, and it's just better to run all of those 5 heroes. So I think in the physical oriented comps, like Lenya Kruger teams, that's probably where Sinbad will see the most use. But we'll have to see for the other Dream Realm bosses. Maybe he will also be usable in some Taylene teams as well. So overall, I think Sinbad is a pretty solid hero, but he's not a must-have as of right now, because even for this Plague Creeper team we showed, marilee does the job as well, and maybe even with a higher damage ceiling or damage potential with the marilee team. So, but this is just a cool showcase of Sinbad, and something you can try if you have all of these heroes built up and you recruit for Sinbad. And finally, the last point is that even if you recruit for Sinbad and you decide later in the season that you regret it, you have the swap ticket. You'll be able to swap him for any other A-level hero released in the Wave of Intrigue season, and I'm sure there's bound to be 1 or 2 which are going to be really powerful and good for your account. So that's another option. Like, so it's never really a waste to recruit. Unless, for example, then you're not able to recruit for the S-level hero right after it, for example. And yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. That's going to be it for this video. I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now. And I'll see you in the next video, hopefully.